Welcome to Simplified 20, where learning becomes simple. Today's video is all about PIAGET'S cognitive theory. It's a very vital and important theory for understanding child psychology. In B.Ed, it is one of the important questions in childhood and growing up. Let's begin today's video. Jean Piaget is a well-known Swiss psychologist. He was the first psychologist to develop a systematic study of cognitive development, that is, detailed observational study of cognition in children. He adapted a clinical description method. He wanted to find the way in which fundamental concepts like the idea of numbers, time, quantity, justice emerged in children. Earlier, children were considered as smaller versions of adults, but Piaget showed young children think in a different way compared to adults and they aren't smaller version of adults. Also, he proved that children move through four distinct stages of mental development based on four concepts. Piaget identified four concepts which he used to explain how and why cognitive development occurs. The first concept is schema. Schema are the basic building blocks of intelligent behavior, a way of organizing knowledge. All of us have different schemata. In babies, these schemas are represented through reflexes such as sucking, grasping, looking. For example, a baby will suck a nipple or a person's finger if someone touches their lips. This is a sucking schema. Next is the concept of assimilation. That is, using an existing schema to deal with a new object or situation. For example, if a child is watching a nature movie, the child will discover new animals and always add to the known group of animals. The next concept is accommodation, trying to adjust a new way of thinking and behaving in terms of old fashioned. Given a small ball, the child will first try to put it in its mouth. If you change the ball and give her a football, the child will try the same but later realize that the ball is bigger and get accommodated to the new change. This is a perfect example of getting accommodated to a new object or a new thing in an older fashion. Equilibration. The last concept is equilibration. This is a force which moves development along, which encounters a new challenge, object, or schema. He tries to get accommodated with that object or finds a new way. As previously discussed, if you give a small ball, she will get used to. If you try to change it, she will try to do the same old fashion. Realizing that it cannot be done in the same way, she will try to change to the new object or a new thing, and automatically an equilibration will be formed between assimilation and accommodation, and therefore a peaceful harmonious relationship between the children and the environment will exist. These are the basic four concepts of Piaget, based on which he proposed four distinct stages of mental development in childhood. Let us discuss each stage in detail. Piaget's theory has four stages of mental development. The first is the sensory motor stage, that is from 0 to 2 years, that is from birth of a child to 24 months. The second stage is the pre-operational stage, which is 2 to 7 years. And the third stage is concrete operational stage, where it belongs to 7 to 11 years of children. And the last stage is a formal operational stage, which is from 12 years and above. We will discuss each and every stage in detail. First stage is sensory motor stage 0 to 2 years. In this stage, motor senses like sight, sound, touch, smell and taste starts developing. Infants understand the world through these motor senses. They also realize that they are different from the objects around them. They start learning that things can exist even if they don't see them. This we call it as object permanence. For example, if we hide a small ball in our hand, the child will try to open our fist in search of the ball. Though the object is hidden, she knows that it is there in our hand. This is called as object permanence. After a few months, child also learns to experiment with trial and error process. Hence, problem solving ability also gets developed at this stage. So, problem solving ability and object permanence are the two major changes that takes place in sensory motor stage. The next stage is pre-operational stage from 2 to 7 years. The major development is the ability of the children to represent objects and events using words and pictures. Language development and imagination enable the child to think and play in new ways. Also, in this stage, children become egocentric. They rarely understand the things from others' point of view. For example, a child can identify his left and right hand, but if you ask him to cross his hands and ask him which is his right hand and which is his left hand now, then the children will be confused. This clearly specifies that they rarely understand others' point of view. In this stage, the child can concentrate only one thing at a time. For example, if there are two boxes, small box which has more number of chocolates and big box which has less number of chocolates, if you ask a child to choose between both the boxes, obviously he will choose the big box with thinking that the big box has more number of chocolates. Logical reasoning will be absent at this stage. Also, he does not know reversing effect. A preschooler can tell you 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, but ask the child what is 2 minus 1, he will not be able to answer at this stage. At pre-operational stage, children can think and imagine objects. Ask them where do boats go at night. The child may answer it may go to home or to bed. As a whole, this is a significant stage where the child exhibits egocentric nature, doesn't know to reverse, and also imagine objects. Next is a crucial stage called concrete operational stage, aging from 7 to 11 years. At this stage, the development of logical reasoning occurs. The children is able to imagine things independently by their own experience and derive logical solution to concrete problems. Children at this stage understand that many objects can be changed and returned to their original conditions. For example, they can make a model of an aeroplane using clay, and the child knows that the aeroplane can again change into a clay. They also learn conservation skills. That is, a ball can be inflated, and if you remove the air, it gets deflated, and again it can be inflated using a pump. At this stage, the children will engage in classification. Before age of 7, they can classify objects along one dimension. For example, given below is a box which has two different shapes and two different colors. If you ask the children to separate them, they'll be able to separate one box with one particular shape and another box with another particular shape. And also, they start to use strategies such as searching for smallest stick, and mentally they'll be able to arrange a series of things according to their increasing or decreasing weight, volume, etc. Next and last stage is formal operational stage. Children about 12 years belong to this stage. At this stage, abstract thought and hypothetical thinking emerges. Also, problem solving ability without trial and error gets developed. For example, in concrete operational stage, a child doesn't know how to balance a weight without trial and error method. But in formal operational stage, he can do it. Also, they move from generalities to specifics. That is, if all the animals have 4 legs, then table has 4 legs. Why doesn't it move? Ask a child who is about 12 years. So, he will try to answer you or derive all the possible solutions to do this particular question with logical reasoning. So this is a very important stage where hypothetical thinking and abstract thoughts get developed. They also do problem solving without trial and error. As a recap, we will be seeing all the important points to be mentioned at every stage. The first stage is sensory motor stage from birth to 2 years. Here, the child understands the world through the motor senses. Also, the concept of object permanence and problem solving through trial and error exist. At the second stage, pre-operational stage 2 to 7 years, the child always exhibits egocentric nature, doesn't know to reverse and imagine things and objects. In the concrete operational stage, that is aged between 7 to 11 years, the child derives logical solutions, it knows reversibility, also engage in concepts like classification and mentally arrange a series of things. They also use some strategies to derive answers. In the last stage, formal operational stage 12 and plus years, the child thinks hypothetically and also abstract thoughts occurs. Problem solving ability without trial and error gets developed. These are the four stages of mental development according to PIAGET. Hope this video gives you a clear understanding of PIAGET's theory. Given below in the description box, there is a link for a detailed explanation about cognitive concepts. You can refer for a better understanding. Thanks for watching.